All right, let's set the scene. You're 22 years old, and you just got that first real paycheck. You know the feeling. That money is burning a hole in your pocket, and it's time for that first big adult purchase, a car. But not just any car. You've got a very specific one in mind.
And that dream, well, that's where our story really begins. This is about an engine that broke a very, very big promise.
So, the dream car? It's a 2003 Subaru Outback. Dark green, all-wheel drive, the whole shebang. The salesman is feeding you all the right lines, you know? It's a mountain car, he says. It's built to last. And you believe him. Why wouldn't you? It's a Subaru. That name just means reliability, adventure, trust. You sign the papers for $7,400 without even a second thought. For 6 months, everything is perfect. Then, one cold morning, you're driving on the highway, and you glance in the rearview mirror. You see it. Just a tiny little puff of white smoke coming out of the exhaust. It's there, and then it's gone. So easy to just write it off, right? It's cold out, it's just condensation, nothing to worry about. But something about it just kind of nags at you. So that night, you do what we all do. You go down an internet rabbit hole. And that is when your stomach just hits the floor. You find them. Hundreds, literally hundreds of forum threads from other Subaru owners. All of them asking this same question. All of them describing that exact same fleeting puff of white smoke. And just like that little late-night Google search turns into an obsession. You're not just a car owner anymore. No, you're an investigator trying to figure out the deep, dark mechanical secret hiding right under your own hood. And at the heart of this entire mystery is this thing, the EJ25 boxer engine. Now look, this was not some niche experimental motor. This was Subaru's bread and butter. It was in millions of their most popular cars for 15 years straight. I mean, you could argue this engine was the Subaru brand. So here it is, the fatal flaw. Unlike most engines where the cylinders stand up straight, the boxer cylinders lie flat. This design puts a very unique kind of stress on the head gaskets, while Subaru used a specific type of gasket that just couldn't handle the heat and pressure. The result? Coolant starts to slowly seep into the cylinders. And once that happens, the engine literally starts to cannibalize itself from the inside. Okay, so a mechanical problem is one thing. But this is the point where the story goes from being about a simple design flaw to something much, much darker. Because it turns out, this wasn't a surprise to everyone. Just look at this timeline. It shows that Subaru knew. They knew. Internal memos were flagging high failure rates way back in the early 2000s. But instead of a recall, they just issued a quiet little bulletin to their dealers, basically suggesting a Band-Aid fix. All while they kept selling these cars for years as the lawsuits piled up, only finally replacing the engine design in 2011. This wasn't an accident. It was a calculation. This really gets to the heart of it. Somewhere, in some boardroom, a person or a group of people decided that letting their customers deal with catastrophic engine failure on their own dime was cheaper than doing the right thing. It's brutal. And for you, that cold corporate calculation becomes a terrifying reality on the side of a deserted highway. The temperature gauge, the one you've been nervously glancing at for months, suddenly shoots into the red. You pull over, pop the hood, and you're hit with that sickeningly sweet chemical smell of burning coolant. The engine is done. So there you are, stranded, miles from anywhere, and you're about to learn the true price tag of that corporate decision. Let's not forget, this is what you paid for the car, $7,400. That's a huge investment when you're 22. You bought it thinking you were getting years and years of reliable driving. And this is the bill to fix the problem you didn't even know you were buying into, $3,100. To get to the head gaskets on one of these boxer engines, a mechanic has to basically tear the whole thing apart. It's a massive, massive job. To put that in perspective, look at this. The repair bill is nearly 42% of what you paid for the car in the first place. You have now spent over $10,000 on a car that was, for all intents and purposes, designed to fail. And you are far from alone. The scale of this problem is just staggering. A typical engine from another company might have a major failure rate of, 2 or 3%? Well, for these EJ25s, the estimates put the failure rate somewhere between 30 and 40%. It wasn't a question of if it was going to fail, it was just a question of when. So you get the car back, it's repaired, it runs fine. But the story isn't over. Because the real damage isn't just to the engine or your bank account. It's to something that's way, way harder to fix. And here is maybe the craziest twist in this whole story.
A failure this big should have crippled the brand, right? For thousands of owners, that trust was completely gone. And yet, Subaru thrived. How? Well, it turns out that their brand's image, that whole story about adventure and love and reliability, it was somehow stronger than the reality of their faulty engines. They eventually fixed the flaw with a new engine, and a whole new generation of buyers, completely unaware of this history, pushed their sales to record highs. It's amazing. But for you, and for the hundreds of thousands of people like you, the relationship is changed forever. You can't drive the car the same way again. Every little noise, every wisp of steam on a cold morning, it just triggers that paranoia. The trust has been completely engineered out of the machine. Ultimately, you sell the car. But the lesson, that sticks with you. And it leaves us with this final, really unsettling question. This was a story about a head gasket. But what about all the other products we use, the other brands we put our trust in every single day? How many of them have a quiet flaw buried deep inside, just waiting for the temperature gauge to spike?